Welcome to Barley and Me. I'm your host, Ben Rice. This is actually a special quarantine edition. We're getting crazy because no brewers wants to talk to us because they got bigger things to worry about. So we're doing special one-off, maybe, continuing series. This is the first of its kind. We're doing hoops and hops, basketball and beer. And our special guest today, a chef about town, it's Phil Webster.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah,
That's
Phil,
awesome.
So before we get into the hoops, let's talk about what you're doing to keep yourself sane during this quarantine.
It's pretty insane. It's hard. It's hard to be creative in these times, especially as it gets kind of crazier out there. But just trying to focus on food, making stuff, putting them on Instagram and Facebook through Culinary Nerds, basically. On my Instagram is Culinary Lando, and I just basically post all my food and just try to inspire people to do stuff at home that are pretty simple dishes that you don't think about every day that you can get done.
Yeah, and there's a trending hashtag of sorts, photos for Phil, where people send you their food.
Yes, I love that. Derek, was nice enough to start something like that, like as a joke, and we just keep it rolling. Like, yeah, anything that helps other people to like think of things to do at home in this crazy time. We can always eat and drink, right?
Exactly. And I'm doing my stupid Chugs for Charity thing. I don't know if you see that at all.
Dude, that's great. I love that.
I think you actually said Chugs for Charity to me, and now I just stole it like an asshole would do.
That's okay.
I'm
all about. I think I sent you just like it's been going around the chug for a chug thing, and then I kind of brought up the idea of like charity about it, and then you were just like you ran with it. I'm happy about that.
I use the number 4, so it's my own unique thing. I'm a monster. I'm a terrible person. I've raised like $800, so I'll take that.
That's awesome. No, that's good, man. I mean, again, it just anything to show awareness. People need entertainment in these times, so you know all about that.
Yeah, and there's plenty of people who need assistance in some way. So happy to give it to them. All right. We did all the things. We've got everything out up front about what's going on with us. Let's talk about some NBA basketball. Now, NBA basketball currently is not a thing that's happening, unfortunately. I miss it.
It's very bumming. I think we all miss sports. Like, we think we don't. Once things are taken away from us, you never know how much you miss it, right? Until it's gone. And it's one of those things.
Yeah, and let's face the facts. I don't know if you share this opinion. We didn't discuss it beforehand, but basketball is the perfect sport.
I would say, yeah, it's definitely up there. It's probably top 2 for me. It's the most entertaining, fast paced. I have an old soul for baseball and obviously football, but basketball is very unique, and I love the artistry of it, and it makes individuals stand out just like how athletic and precise they are. It's amazing.
Yeah, I just love that. Like, there's always something happening. You have to do everything. You can't just, like, you could, if you're so good, you could be an offensive specialist, you could be a defensive specialist if you're so good at that one thing, but like, you're going to get exposed on the other end, and it's a perfect team game. It's like creative, it's fast paced, it's exciting. Free throws are terrible. They need to figure out something with free throws, but
yeah. I think they are outdated. They are becoming outdated. Yeah.
Like shoot them, but like, hey, you could, like, here's the ball, 2 dribbles. That's maximum. Get the ball up there. You've shot a million free throws.
5 seconds. I think you don't need to do a ritual every time you have to take a shot.
Although as a shooter myself, as a youth, rituals are important to drain in those things. But but I mean,
there's no doubt, but you need to make it harder, right? Like, obviously, there needs to be more skill involved. Like,
exactly. I don't know. It's just because it takes so much time and there's so many foul calls. Like, there's too many in the NBA. Just loosen the whistle, maybe, is the solution. Let it go.
Yeah, I think guys, the way they're able to, especially now. I mean, they used to before, but I see like now the way people can train their bodies and stuff like that. There shouldn't be this necessary flow stop.
Yeah. When you're watching a 6'3", 220-pound guy just power through a 6'10", 270-pound guy because they're just all muscle. It's like, did that hit really affect this shot that much that we have to give him extra shots?
I think we lost it when Shaq was like 7
the hack
feet.
Shaq.
Yeah, 280 pounds, and then you just hacked him the whole time, because if not, he'd just dunk all over you. Like,
yeah. So we're basically, this is a pretty easy lead-in. We're basically talking about 1980s basketball, take it to the hole, the Jordan rules. You got no easy buckets basketball, which is we're no spring chickens, so
no, we are not.
Probably,
no, we're not.
Probably grew up about that same time watching those basketball teams. That's when you fell in love with the game. So I kind of wanted to talk more about our best memories of it. And since it is hoops and hops, we're also drinking beer because it's Barley and me.
Yeah, yes, we are.
So Phil, you chose the beer. What are we drinking today?
We are drinking All Together by Urban Roots, which obviously goes to help fund restaurants all over America and restaurant workers who are out of work, and like just kind of is a way to help people get back on their feet during this crazy time. So I'm all for it. Anything that'll help out people in need to do what I do for a living, that's a good cause.
For sure. And it's started by Other Half in New York. It's basically an IPA recipe brewed around the world to help support service industry workers. So I'm here for it. My Trucks for Charity goes to service industry workers for the most part. So absolutely
That's
agree.
Awesome.
Absolutely agree.
Well,
cheers to that. Clinking sound.
Ooh. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, Phil, and if we're going to talk about basketball, we need to know where you came from as a basketball fan. Tell me your journey.
Oh man. So I'm from the Midwest. I grew up in Ohio.
Okay.
Believe it or not, but I still became like a very huge Jordan fan because of obviously just how athletic he was in comparison to everyone else. But Cleveland had some really good teams. They were probably their best sports team for a long time in Ohio.
Yeah.
Was the Cavaliers, and they had a couple good runs where that might have been the year, but Jordan just was just too good. Too good.
Always had great point guards. Ooh.
Yeah, and that's another thing about the NBA for me was that as I got older, is that I realized as much as I had to pick a team, just for like, if not sports fans to get mad at you, but it's really, you can be an individual fan. You can just root for a athlete or two because there's just so many good ones.
Yeah.
It's like Marvel characters. They're just superheroes and you just want them all to do well.
Yeah. That's how I feel too. It's like, as much as like I get the team thing, for the most part, it's familial or location. You're kind of stuck with what you have. Like,
pretty much.
So it's
like, not fair.
How loyal are you really? Fair. If you love this place so much, why'd you move? Like,
yeah, exactly. It's like, can you still be a Cleveland fan in California where you have like three places to choose from? Like, it's tough. Like, it is really tough.
I will say there is a large collective of Cleveland fans in Sacramento. I know probably about 25 of them. There's like a group. They hang out. They go to they watch Browns games. Like,
they watch Browns games. Yeah, it's very strong. Like, it's amazing what the internet has changed in the last like 15 years. Like, people gather together.
Yeah. So you were watching Craig Elo slump his head, walk off a court.
Oh yeah, Mark Price
burying trays. That dude would play so well now.
Oh, he was so good. Those were when you had specialists at each position. That's where you had your point guard was great, your center was great. Like, Jordan kind of revolutionized the shooting guard position where that guy was just a spot-up shooter.
Yeah.
Now that guy can dribble to the hoop. He can make his own shot. He can do things like other people couldn't, where that was the point guard's job. Now you have two guys that can attack him, and he basically turned their point guard, where they have Paxton or BJ Armstrong or whatever, they become the spot-up shooter.
Yeah.
Because he's so skilled and he's so big. Like, those were just incredible times. But yeah, him, Chris Daugherty, those guys were like, they were some of my favorites. Like, easily some of my favorite players that growing up I rooted for.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. Those Cleveland teams were great. It's just Wrong place, wrong time,
Wrong
unfortunately.
time, yeah. Same thing, Indiana. Indiana was another one. Reggie Miller was a huge influencer on me when I played. I loved how he played. He was skinny like me, and yet he just tried his darndest. Like he just shot the ball so well, and he just did it his own way. He was great.
Could you ever get the leg kick to work? I could never get the leg kick.
I tried. People would get mad at me because I wouldn't do it obviously as fly as he could. But yeah, you do the leg kick all the time. Like that was the move. Like,
always impossible.
Create separation.
Yeah. Yeah. So
kick somebody in the groin, whatever.
Yeah. So you're an Eastern Conference guy, born and raised. I'm
Eastern Conference, yes.
So I found sports in Seattle. I moved a lot as a kid, so Seattle's where I started following sports and discovered, like, right when Ken Griffey Jr. came along, you know. So I was like, sports are real, okay.
I'm a huge fan of Ken Griffey. Don't even give it. That's another.
How can you not be? How can you not?
That's
be?
Another part. Yeah.
It was literally 1989. Somebody showed me a baseball card. I'm like, oh, this is a cool thing. Who's this person? They're like, oh, it's baseball.
And then you
I'm
see
like,
the
what?
swing one time. Yeah, you see the swing one time, and you're just like, holy.
We saw that swing a million times. My stepdad at the time worked at Boeing, and he'd get the box seats like 6-7 times a year. Oh man, it was great. Wow. Then we'd go out to the game. Like if we didn't have those, we'd just buy general admission, sit in the outfield. Great, so much fun. I loved it. Yeah. But I only ever went to one Sonics game while I lived there. But I was like, it was like 91, before they were kicking into high gear, but it was still Gary Payton, it was still Sean Kemp, and they're like infancy. Dude, yeah. Oh my God, Dana Barros, like come on, like you're giving me.
Oh man, killer squad.
Yeah,
still, like it's in who they ran into. You're talking about like San Antonio, the Rockets, like dude, they're like incredible teams, man.
Yeah,
like, incredible.
Yeah, so that's our history with basketball. Now, your team still exists. My team became a thing.
It's true.
It's not easy.
But LeBron finally got us a championship in the city. I was so obviously I'm a Kings fan now, a transplant, and I root for them too. And again, it seems easier in the culture when the team doesn't win. They'll take all the bandwagoners because they're not really on the bandwagon because it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. There's no force on this thing.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't even gotten it together yet. So come on in. We need help.
Yeah.
So yeah, I transplanted to Sacramento. I've been here now 15 years.
Okay.
I was kind of a fan of them, obviously, in the Weber, Bibby era. And so I was a huge fan. They had their window too of 5-6 years.
Yeah.
And like most good teams, and they just couldn't get it done. But they were amazing. They were amazing to watch and fun to watch. And I got to go to LeBron's first game here in Sacramento.
Oh shit!
That was incredible. He single-handedly almost won the game on his own. The Kings pulled it out, but by 2 or 3, I can't remember exactly, but it was he had almost a triple-double basically in his first game. And I kept on thinking who is this guy? Too much hype. I'm not buying it.
Who's living up to this?
He was as advertised. Yeah. That kid was absolutely amazing. And I can't believe now I'm talking 15 years later, this kid's a man. And,
and he's still younger than us. And I'm just oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's so
he
old.
Still plays
no. Yeah, dude. It's crazy. So yeah, I feel beer and basketball go together because you drink a beer while you're watching basketball. You play basketball, you drink a beer. It's all goes together. And I think when we were messaging about this idea, we kind of had the idea of how beer evolved is pretty similar to how basketball evolved. Because it started off with real flavorless beers, not particularly bold. They were just
but everybody had beer.
Yeah, yes, everybody had beer. Yeah, it's this is all set shots and layups. You can't.
No dunking.
No dunking.
No 3-point line.
You can't dribble and then shoot. You can only pass. There's no dribbling. Not allowed.
No shot ball. Yeah, there was it was very basic.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah, So it's basically George Mikan is a lager. Like that's like
Yeah, but everything was American.
like American light lager, George Mikan, hand in
Yeah.
hand. It's like you can drink them all day, left hand, right hand, left hand, right hand.
Oh yeah, yeah. You could have very many of those and not feel terrible later.
But it doesn't translate to all settings. That probably isn't true. It probably does translate very well though. So that's not a perfect comparison.
Sure.
Yeah.
Michael was probably like quite great. Yeah, quite great at what, of course, those beers were at those times. They were exactly what everybody needed, right? They just needed something like crispy and cold, and that was
just
the easiest thing to make.
Get me through this day with something besides my terrible life that I've chosen for myself.
Yeah.
Let me see this 7-foot guy who can't even run. Let me watch that guy dominate 5'3" dudes who also can't run.
Right, exactly. But it's like, at least I'm not at work right now. Yeah. Like, that's what it was
it's
about.
Like, that guy plays like I feel. I feel like I'm bigger than everybody, and I can take it on.
And I think that, too. I think to some degree, like, that's how sports always starts, is that, like, there's always, you know, the armchair quarterbacks or everybody who thinks, like, I could do that, right? But it's like, there's also those guys, those special guys like Jordan, Tom Brady, and, you know, a lot of guys like that, like, no matter how you feel about them, where they're just like, they just can get it done in ways that nobody else can, and you just have to respect it, and you just think like, okay, these guys are just naturally better than everybody else. Like, sure, there's some luck involved, but it's like, there's no doubt, like, they're just clearly better. Like, and that's okay. Like, that's what makes sports great.
Yeah. The evolution is so important. Like, of course people are better than they were before. Like, is somebody better than Jordan? Not as a competitor, but better shooters, stronger, faster? Yeah, happens. But
a better passer, a better shooter, sure. But it all rolled up into one person?
Yeah.
No.
Like,
no.
Like, can you go, hey, I know this is my cap, but you're pushing me, and I'm going to go past what I should be able to do because I'm not losing this game. That doesn't not many people have that.
No, not everybody can just equal, like, just amazingly just make an enemy out of somebody so quickly and fuel yourself to just be, I'm just going to be better than them because somebody out there thinks that guy's better than me, and I'm just going to make sure that everybody knows that he's not.
Yeah, like nobody else on earth is scoring 60 and shutting down the team's best scorer, like keeping him down to like 12 points. It's not happening.
You can't be like 60 and 50. No, it's like, no, you're 60 and I'm
it's
60,
not a competition. I'm winning. Like, this is not what happens. I think, now, let's talk about it, even though everybody makes these terrible, unfair comparisons. Who do you think is closest to Michael Jordan in the current NBA?
Oh, in the current NBA, I would say, like, obviously, like, Kobe had the same style. Like, he played with the turnaround jumper. He was a shooting guard. Like, he was lanky. He could score on his own. Like, he made the other guys be perimeter shooters. So I would have to say Kobe over time. Like, but he's always like a caveat because it's hard because he always had like a dominant center or big guy, where Jordan, those guys were like afterthought guys. Like they were just there to stop the other big guys. They were just big guys.
Yeah.
They didn't
interchangeable. You didn't have the same guys through the whole run. You had Luke Longley, you had Bill Wennington, you had Bill Cartwright. He didn't even have the same center for these runs.
That wasn't, exactly.
Like, in my head, Horace Grant's like their power forward, but he's not. He was only there the first couple of years, and then it was Dennis Rodman. Like,
and then they went to Dennis Rodman. It's like he only, like, I think he got 3.
Yeah. They each got 3.
And then he left and because they weren't paying guys. Grant then went to Orlando, got paid, and then they had to fill it in with older Dennis Rodman, but they were able to make it work because what you'll find, obviously, in the series and stuff, they talk about it with a lot of people have seen. I know you're working on it, but it's like...
I mean, I was there for it.
It's so amazing. It's nice to see the drama behind it, like, about all the things you thought you heard about, like Rodman going to Las Vegas and stuff like that during the finals or during playoff time, and then, like, finding out it actually happened.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff. Like, you're just like, how do you do, like, you couldn't do that in the current NBA and not somebody fucking not blow up.
Because somebody did it, right? Was it somebody went on vacation during the playoffs? Was it a football player?
I think it was like, it was football players. I think it was like before a playoff game.
Somebody went to Miami or whatever.
They had a bye week and they went like on a cruise. Like
the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah. They had a cruise. And then there was another. I think one dude just went to like
Giants
Florida.
Or something like I think it was like Odell Beckham and them did something like that. Like, and then they lost the next game, so then everybody blames you going, you're not focused, so that's why you lost. Like, okay,
hey, this is how I refocus. Like,
hey,
look, everybody handles things differently.
Yeah. Yeah, some people need to be in it completely, and then some people need more breaks than others.
Some people need to be hyper-focused and sequester themselves away. Some people need to get away onto a lake. Some people need to murder a person in an alleyway before the Super Bowl. Like, everybody gets ready in their own way.
Yeah, I can only imagine in, like, the stand-up comedian way. Like, how does that happen? Like, how do people, like, get ready? I'm sure some people take a couple drinks beforehand. Some people just need to be alone. Some people need food, whatever.
Yeah.
It just, whatever it takes you to get ready.
Yeah.
Like,
and Dennis Rodman's a weird dude. And honestly, played his ass off. He knew his strengths and limitations. He's like, I'm going to win this game. I'm a garbage man. Literally, he was a garbage man. Let's pick it up.
Only one. He's like, I'm going to get in the muck. I'm going to take the elbows. I'm going to get the rebounds. And if I score 2 points, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
If I win what I'm supposed to do, we're going to win most of the time. Like,
if I control the boards, control the defensive side, make it difficult to get a basket. I may not get steals, may not get blocks, but if I make it difficult to get that basket and grab those rebounds, make it hard for other people to get rebounds, I've done my job.
Yeah, exactly. He was so great at that. He was amazingly good.
Yeah. So I think you do what you got to do to win. People that want to win and they know their strengths and weaknesses. Michael Jordan had no weaknesses, so he's like, I'll just use all my strengths. And Dennis Rodman's like, I have very many weaknesses. I will just ignore them. Other than my occasional decision, I'm going to shoot too many 3-pointers.
Well, and he was on the perfect team where it was like, I don't have to be the scorer. So it's like, that's fine. Like, I can just do the things you don't want to do. I'll be happy with that. Like, I'm happy with just grabbing rebounds and passing it to you.
Exactly.
I want to do that.
Does it help us win? Great. Sounds good. Let's do it.
Exactly. It works on the perfect team. Like, and I think that's where Dennis Rodman he fits. He's that Robert Horry kind of guy. Where it's like, we're really good at one thing. Like, just keep doing that.
Yeah. That guy crushed it. That's you.
My headphones are about to die. I'm gonna, can I switch to other headphones?
Yeah, go for it.
Careful with your magic.
Careful with your magic.
Careful with your magic.
Careful with your magic.
Careful with Your Magic is the new album by Blinker the Star. Available on vinyl, compact disc, and digital download. Blinker the Star, the new album, Careful with Your Magic, available at bandcamp.com, on Spotify, or wherever you consume music.
I didn't know they ran out so quickly like that. That sucks. Yeah. They were like it's 70%. I was like, oh, that should be fine.
That should be fine. Oh man. All right.
Like 20%, like halfway through this.
That sucks.
All right.
Yeah. So Rodman, crazy good. I don't think we ever talked about this. What I think modern day Michael Jordan is. Here's my modern Michael Jordan.
Right.
Underrated. I don't think anybody's going to agree with me. But to me, it's Kawhi Leonard.
Ooh. Yeah, I think there are some people that are you have a camp. It's a small camp.
I know.
But I think you have a camp.
But I've been watching Kawhi Leonard since he was a rookie. I remember watching him play defense in the playoffs. I was like, this dude locks it down. Like, locks it down.
Yeah, he just isn't. He wasn't offensive minded like Jordan. So, and like Kobe is willing to throw 4 air balls before he hit a shot. Where like Kawhi only shot if he stole the ball and scored, kind of thing. Like, so he didn't play the same, but I do like the comparison. Yes,
he's grown into it. I think the difference is he's not flashy. There's no oohs and ahs. He's very businesslike. He's the assassin Kobe wanted to be.
Can that make you Jordan?
I feel, as far as stylistically, no.
All right.
But in the ability to do everything and not screw up the game and the competitive will to win, I think he's got it.
All right.
He's got the skill set without the added characteristics that you associate with Jordan. I think that's the one drawback. He's not a personality at all.
Because the signal came back. Can you still hear me?
Yep. It did disappear for a second, though.
It did. I was like, no. Okay. So, yeah, like, now what would you say? I don't know. I guess we didn't really talk about how we would do this, but like, what kind of style of beer or style is Jordan's play to his, like, a beer style? Like, what would you equate those to?
I think he's a triple IPA. Punch you in the face. Punch you in the face. No unrelenting aggression.
Yes. Like, I would say, like, Pliny the Younger-ish. Yeah. Like, where the lore...
No, that's too sweet. There's too much sweetness in it.
Yeah. See, that's the one thing. It's the lure, though, right? Yeah. Like, you're chasing. Like, I feel like if you said triple IPA, I don't know what other name would resonate throughout.
That's true. What's the worldwide triple IPA? That's a good point. Like, how do you get international, baby? That's
right. Even if we've tasted good ones from other places, obviously there's plenty of good beer. It's like nothing has the lure, the lines. Nobody's waiting in line for, another triple IPA like Citra or Simtra or whatever, which are great beers. I love that beer. Yeah. But it's like, nobody's waiting in line for it.
Yeah.
But like Pliny the Younger, it's like, it's not even close. Like,
yeah, I don't know what, as far as a perfect comparison to Jordan, in the beer world, like, it'd have to be in demand, widely available, aggressive, and marketable. So it's like, what, like, is it Guinness?
Something you can get everywhere, but it's also like still dominant. Like, it's still great.
Yeah. And
so maybe Pliny now? Like,
Pliny now,
maybe?
Again, they got that big facility. They got that new facility. So let's just say Russian River 1996 to last year was just early 80s, early, like mid 80s Bulls, Jordan coming out party. And then current Windsor location, mass produced, 2019, Russian River,
readily available. Still popular.
You could buy bottles to go. You could order them online. That's 1990s Michael Jordan.
Yes, he was in those times. Pliny was as good as any beer, at least on half of the earth. But like the other half was probably. Alchemist beers. But yeah, like, there were the two best. West Coast, you're not going to get any better.
Yeah. And the nice part is there's people that will still argue that, like, for some reason, like, some other IPA is better. Like, Simtra's better. Like, it's like, nah, man. There's nothing stopping.
Exactly. Well, again, like you said, popularity over everything, right? Like, there could be comparisons now, like, because the skill level of everybody has increased, and that's because of Jordan, right? Yeah. Like, same thing we can say is like Jordan was ahead of him, but now it's like this era would be different because he couldn't play in this era because there's too many people who tried to emulate him, like Tracy McGrady's and Vince Carter's of the world. All these guys who were great, but not good enough.
Right.
But
they were an imitation, not a build upon.
Yes, exactly.
But let me counter with this. What if we didn't go beer? What if we went brewery?
Ooh.
I would offer Sierra Nevada.
Wow.
They do everything great. They've been around from the beginning.
Forever, yes.
Crushing it.
Crushing it.
They can do everything.
Yeah,
What do you want? You
I
want
would
a
say
lager?
that.
You want a goza? You want an IPA? We got you. Are we changing the game? We've done different ways to get hops into beer to maximize that profile. Look at us go.
I would not say that I would offend anybody by saying like Sierra Nevada would be the Michael Jordan of beer. Like, I think any brewery would want that type of success, right? Like, I think the standardization of it, you can again throw like Dogfish, all those kind of guys were trying to do the same thing.
Right.
They maybe done it on the East Coast, but it's just not just like Sierra Nevada means so much to so many people. It was a lot of introductory beers for a lot of people. Pale ale, obviously, and then whatever else you got. Like, that was like a man's beer. Like, if you were having a real craft beer, you brought Sierra Nevada Pale Ale to the party, or else you were a loser.
Yeah.
Like,
and if you're over 50, you will never accept that somebody else might be better.
there's no way.
Jordan's my guy.
because of
There's
how
nobody
much
better than
it
Jordan.
meant to
There's
you.
no beer better than Sierra Nevada. I don't care. What are you
because
bringing me?
it was the best thing you had in your 20s,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's the best thing you've ever had in your 20s. Like, that was the best beer for like 6-7 years. Like, you couldn't get a better beer.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think this goes back to a
I
point
like it.
I think we did talk about this point. So we talked about George Mikan and the early NBA being an American lager. Let's face facts. The NBA was starting to get popular, you know, and then Bill Russell and Bob Cousy come around like, hey, what about ambers? Would you like it? Would you like a little bit of malt flavor in there? And then you know what happened? Here's what really happened. The ABA happened. Home brewers came along and like, no, we're changing how we play this game.
Oh, I think so. I like that. I do like that. Yes, because they didn't have the rules of the big brewers, so they could be more finesse. They could try different things. Let's throw some chocolate in there. Let's see what happens when we throw a piece of bologna or strawberries in there. Let's just see what happens. Like, I like that.
Let's have a dunk contest.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get a different colored ball. Like, what are we doing? Like, let's just try it. Like, let's be our own.
It's like, we're playing the game,
that.
but we're not playing the same game.
We want to be more flashy. We want to like change the game. And I think that, that does that to a lot of people. Like, was that, like, I think once you got rid of that stale style, like we talked about, where it was just your crispy lager, like, which was great. Everybody has its place. But you needed some flair. You needed some hops. You needed some actual flavor.
You needed real hops. You needed to be able to get up there, slam it down.
Yes. Yeah. Hardcore, through the legs, reverse, difference, behind the back, like that kind. You needed some of that. Yeah. You needed some of that.
You needed some barrels. You needed some unique hops. You needed some homegrown stuff. You needed
and I think so. When that
was in here.
Well, I mean, and then we talk about, like, obviously Yinling, I got on the East Coast, and we're talking about Sierra Nevada here and others. Like, that's when, you started doing, like, they started doing porters. Like, you couldn't get them everywhere at the time, but, like, that they're starting to be this
homegrown build-up. Like, get your
we want more flavor. Like, we know something that's going to work for most days.
Yeah.
But every now and then you're going to want something with a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, and we got that too. And then they started just perfecting those things, perfecting an amber, perfecting a porter, like different stuff like that you could just get, like, quickly roasted malt, like, very nicely crisp, still light, not huge beers. I don't know the chronological, like, order on when, like, pastry stout started being a thing. But, like, they weren't high ABVs. They didn't get into high ABVs at that time. They were trying to get working man beer.
I like to think of pastry stouts as, like, Jordan imitators. Like, it's like, we're just all flash. We're all flash and dazzle. We're bigger. But we're not, we don't have the quality.
We're not better.
We're not,
It's just like, we just pile everything into one thing. That's what we're trying to do.
We're fun to watch on a Sunday with friends, but we're not winning you championships.
We're the XFL. No. Like, you don't care who wins, but you want to watch.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like that dude who shot a layup on the other team's backboard to get a Miles. Miles is in there. right? Or is it
Yeah,
Davis?
exactly. No doubt.
Ricky Davis.
No, I like
Ricky
that.
Davis did it.
Oh,
Saw that
that's
Latham get his 10th rebound.
Yes.
That's pastry
Good
stouts.
Lord. Ricky Davis. Yeah, he reminded he was one of the first, like, was it Isaiah Ryder? It was like another one that was supposed to be like a Jordan imitator.
Yeah.
Like, same thing. Like, it's like if you could dunk, like, you were supposed to be Jordan. Like, that was just the next guy. Like,
It's
it's like no.
And it's like, no, he could shoot, he could post up, he could play defense, he was faster, he was stronger. It's more than just being able to dunk. Like, that's otherwise we talk. Are you looking for the next Dominique Wilkins, who also could do more?
That's the amazing part to watch, but he did so many things. He was just everywhere. Like, and he would take over a game whenever he had to. Like, he never fell behind too much. Like, he always had, like, besides his early days, once he got Pippen and Horace Grant and those guys, like, there was, like, no losing. Like, once they got the right pieces, that guy was not losing. Like, he was just not losing.
Guys that could buy in, fill in the gaps. Exactly. Now, I just thought of this. So I'll ask your opinion. Let's go through beer styles. You pick your players. That sound good?
Oh, I like that.
All right. I have my answer for this one. That's why I'm going to ask you it. Imperial Stout. Who's the Imperial? Or sorry, Barrel Aged Stout. Barrel Aged Stout. Who's your Barrel Aged Stout baller?
Ooh, my Barrel Aged Stout. Describe what a Barrel Aged Stout would be in a player, and I can probably narrow it down.
It's big. It's bold, robust, but it's a heavier hitter. It's just a better, like, on the next level up because it's got that extra kick from the bourbon barrel, right?
Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, you would have to say Shaquille O'Neal. Like,
You're gonna go Shaquille O'Neal. Okay.
I would say Shaquille O'Neal just because of, obviously, his time era, how big he was, how dominant he was. I mean, I would love to throw, like, Akeem Olajuwon, who I thought was, like, one of the smoothest big men I probably ever watched play.
That's my pick. It was Hakeem Olajuwon.
But yeah, like, I think just bold, the way you described it, like bold, just blow your mouth away, like Imperial, like barrel aged bourbon ish, like stout, like it's got to be Shaq, like no doubt.
Now that you said it, I'm like, that actually makes more sense. But in my head, I'm like, nah, this guy Hakeem Olajuwon gives you everything you want in a center.
Oh,
but like
he was amazing.
But
he
more.
Was
his
absolutely
footwork
amazing.
Was unparalleled. One of the best defenders in NBA history. The best moves of a center ever.
Nobody's ever breaking most of his records as a center, like as far as like blocks and rebounds and stuff. Like,
most
there's no way
steals, like the dude averaged 4 stocks and blocks in a game. Like 4.
That's incredible.
Who does that? It's insane.
The guy who's he dominated in an era right when Jordan left. Like he became the guy. Like nobody could stop him. And then Shaq was supposed to be that up and coming guy, but he couldn't do it either until Jordan was gone forever. And then he went to the Lakers, and then they got it going. But yeah, like incredible, man. Like but I would say Shaq definitely Imperial stout.
Yeah, I hold. Now let's carry my one a little bit over. Let's say a regular stout or maybe even an Imperial stout is David Robinson, right? 95, he wins the MVP. And then what does Hakeem do? Fucking obliterate him. Fucking obliterate
like,
him.
Cause it's like, he was dominant, right? Like we were like, dude, that dude, what do you not like about that dude? Chiseled, large, very physical, but Hakeem was so smooth, so crafty. Like you said, didn't waste energy. Yeah. Like he was just so good at whatever he did. He was the best.
Let me add this. I just thought of this comparison for the bourbon barrel aged stout with Hakeem Olajuwon. Like bourbon doesn't belong in beer, typically speaking. Like why would you have? And Hakeem Olajuwon came from a country that didn't play basketball. He didn't play basketball until he was in college.
Right.
Like,
no,
what are you doing here? He's like, I don't know, but I'm better than everybody.
Could have been even more dominant. Yeah. Could you imagine how better it would have been? Yeah, exactly. If he had started earlier. But yes, no, I agree with you. Yeah, very transported. Yeah,
but I like your Shaq pick. I like your Shaq pick a whole lot because it's the biggest.
I feel like Shaq's like your adjuncts. Like, I mean, I know that adjuncts is like this new term, but it's like
it used to be.
It's just because.
Why did adjuncts become that? Because it used to be like, an adjunct lager, your American craft lager, your American major.
Like because you're adding something to it. Like,
it used to be negative, but it's like we need these adjuncts.
Yeah, you're like, no, this guy's really good at this particular style of adding adjuncts. I think like he's just like that because he's just so overpowering and there's just nothing like him.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you'll ever see that body style being able to do what he did.
Does,
like,
yeah, absolutely.
like Yao was great, but he kept getting hurt because no 7-foot somebody should be running
Shaq
the way
should
he
have
does.
just obliterated his legs when he was like 30.
Yes,
But he played till he was like
Because
38,
he said
39.
He wasn't even working out. Like he wasn't. Like he was just using his natural abilities. Like he probably would have gave up if his knee blew out, but it never did.
Yeah.
Like he's incredible, just an incredible athlete.
That's true. Nobody gives him credit for longevity because he should have had his knees destroyed long ago.
Yes, 300 something pound, like 7 foot, like no way.
Playing
man.
professional basketball at the highest level
Like
as one of these
13
supreme
years,
talents.
like
yeah, no, he should have been.
13, 14 years, no way.
Yeah, he was
No way.
94 to like 2012, dude. He played forever.
Yeah, dude, it's incredible. Like, and he played for like I don't know, like 13 teams.
Yeah,
Something like
at the
that.
end,
Like,
he was just like, I don't know what was happening there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Was he
He's
ring
like, "Oh, you want
chasing?
me
It's
there?
not even
I'll
clear if
do
he
it."
was ring chasing. Was it just money chasing? What was
I
he
think
doing?
it was. Yeah, I think it was just respect. I think he just took the money because he wanted to be. If somebody thought he could be a game changer, he was a ticket seller. Like because he was just so gigantic.
He was the piece away guy. He's like, we're one piece away. Let's get Shaq. The Suns did it. The Heat did it.
The
Celtics
Suns did it. The Celtics, because it worked with the Heat.
Yeah.
And so after that, he was golden. Like, that was his role after that. Like, he helped D Wade, and then it was just like, he had like 4 or 5 more years of just going to different teams. Like, maybe this guy can just give us 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, and then we'll make.
He was a Cav, right? He played for the Cavs for like half a season.
Yes, he played for LeBron, like, right. That was his 1 year. I think he made it to the finals the first time.
Yeah.
Like, with him. And then, like, but he wasn't playing. Like, he couldn't even play at that point.
Well, they were playing him, but he was unplayable.
Yes. That's a better word. They were playing him, but was he playing?
Yeah. Was that the best plan for victory? Like,
all right. So who would be your like American lager now? Like who's your like crisp, like 10 degrees, just like a Czech lager, something very nice and crispy. Like,
no disrespect to the assumed belief of what an American lager is. As more craft breweries are making American lagers, let's accept that it is an acceptable beer style to drink again, because you don't have to buy it from the big boys. I'm going to say you want universal ability to get around. You want it to crush it day in, day out. You can watch it all day. It's Steph Curry, right? It's Steph Curry.
Oh, wow. I want to say that it's hard because like, I would say, like, in the 90s, it was probably Stockton.
Might be that
like, Stockton's your guy.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Stockton,
Steph is too flashy for an American.
He's a little, but
flashy.
You want a guy who's consistent and assists.
So maybe it's Klay Thompson. Maybe it's Klay Thompson.
Yes. I could say it's definitely a point guard. Like, you want somebody, like, I would say Chris Paul, somebody in that area where
I did consider Chris Paul for a second there, but then I was like, ooh, but
I do agree with you. Like, maybe he's like, maybe Curry's like a little higher up. Maybe he's
because he's too flashy. He's too flashy. But Chris Paul gets you what you need all the time. He's got all the knowledge. When he called attention to that fucking jersey being untucked to get those technical foul shots at the end of a game, like that's an American light lager move. I know the rules. I know the rules.
I'm gonna nitpick it like every little thing because I have to be perfect.
Yeah, because otherwise I'm no good. Like, Chris Paul is a villain to a lot of people.
Yes, exactly.
Chris Paul's
you
the best
hate to
pick.
love it.
You win, Phil.
Yeah,
It's Chris
I
Paul.
like it. All right. Nice.
I'm sorry, Steph Curry, for impugning your name in such a way and downplaying all the pizzazz you've brought to the game of basketball. Chris Paul, just dependable on the wing. I was watching this video of the best percentage.
I would assume this was going to get murky. It's like, I feel like as positions go, it's like you can go pale ale, IPA, double IPA, right? And then it's like, but is that small? Is that like shooting guard and then
I think
small forward, power forward? Or are we like you can get really murky?
Right.
You can get really murky.
I feel like the IPA pale ale is kind of the do everything kind of players, and then there's tiers of like how skilled they are across the board. I feel like, because
it's
it's an act of aggression. It's who wants it the most, right? Because all the aggressive hops. Here's my fun thing I want to do. Okay, so we've pretty much established that the stouts are centers. So a porter is definitely a power forward, right? It's like a little bit less than a center. Nobody really cares about a power forward anymore.
Lighter does the job.
Yeah.
You can have incredible porters, there's no doubt. You can have an incredible porter.
Like, if your center can only play defense, your power forward is going to be there for your offense.
Or vice versa. Yes, exactly. Yes. I like that. Yeah. If you're going to have more flavor on this side, then it's like your other one's going to be lighter. It's going to be obvious.
And porters get no respect. They're not fancy. Who's the best power forward of all time? It's Tim Duncan. Come on, that's a porter. That's a porter.
Yes, that's a porter because everybody hates them.
Porter.
Well, yes, exactly. I would say it's him or Karl Malone, right? Like, and they're both disliked, not flashy, not fun to watch.
Yeah.
But they get the job done, right? They're gonna put up numbers. They're gonna get you what you need. They're gonna get you close to a championship and not win you one. I like it.
Power forwards and porters, it's the clearest, easiest thing. If you establish that a center is a stout, it's obvious the power forward.
Oh, it's obviously, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like definitely in their most underrated position because of that. Like, because obviously here in Sac, you can say Chris Webber, one of the best, but didn't get it done. So he'll never be recognized, besides in Sacramento, as being a good porter.
Yeah.
Like that.
Kevin Garnett won a ring, but he needed so many people around him.
Yes. Yeah, so he'll never be on that echelon because he didn't carry them there. He was just there.
Yeah.
He was just...
And Tim Duncan did carry them there, but no one cared.
Nobody
cared.
He did it 4 times.
The most boring, yeah, I guess Spurs again. All right, whatever.
Yeah, here we... Oh, great.
No one's out there going, what are the hot new porters on the streets?
Exactly. Yeah, where can I get that good Schwartz beer? That's what I
want. And then but then you have to wonder, what do you do with your Kevin Garnett's and your Sean Kemp's? Those very exciting.
Oh yes, again, your guy Sean Kemp, great, incredible power forward. Like, he could, for what he did, like, he was a dunker. Like, he wasn't a great shooter, but like, he did what he was supposed to do. He grabbed rebounds. He played with a point guard who could get him the ball. Like that. That was how power forwards worked. Like, that's how it worked.
Yeah. Well, I would say, we talked about this earlier, that pale ales and IPAs are pretty much they can fit any category, any position.
Sure.
So I would say
they're more fluctuating. Sure.
So for him, I would say he's more like a black IPA, right? Like, fucking kicked the doors down when he was young, and then something happened, and no one cared anymore, and he got fat and washed out of the league.
Yeah, not to call out any breweries, but yeah, I could say, like, Back to Black, like, it's like, it was a very popular beer for when 21st Amendment first came out. It was fantastic. Yeah. Everybody loved it, and now they still make it, but nobody cares.
Within what, a year and a half? It was just
maybe
everybody was making them, and then nobody was making them.
Nobody cared anymore. Everybody was like, "Oh, you got a black? I love it. Let's do it." And then it's like, nobody cares.
This guy teabagged Rodman in the finals. Sure, that was awesome. But what did he do after 99? Like, what did he do?
Or like, they didn't win, so it doesn't matter. Like, and then they just disappeared. So you're just like, oh, okay.
Anyway, so obviously with the flashy power forwards, you put them in that pale ale IPA category, because that's what you do with that category of beer.
Yes, I would say, like IPAs can be, like, obviously your stars are the most popular style. We're both drinking one as we speak.
Well, because it's if we're gonna do hoops and hops, you got to do aggressively hopped beers.
Yes, and so IPAs again range. So you got your Currys, your LeBrons, you got like Kobe's of the world. Like, these are the guys who are gonna be your IPAs, and just range from double IPA to triple IPA, like we talked about, like where. That's Jordan is like the ultimate IPA. Maybe we're talking about LeBron's he's Pliny, right? Like, it's like he'll never be younger because this is an impossible feat. Like, he's just elder. A different style of beer, but he's there. Yeah. And maybe Kobe's there too. They're on that same level but they'll never be younger. Like nothing will ever be younger. Like it's just it's how it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, where are we on the IPA tier? Like single IPA. So is that the Curry range? Is that where we're talking Durant, Curry,
I
other
think they're
guys
double
like
IPAs,
that?
Man. They drink like double IPAs to me.
You think they're in the LeBron range?
I get drunk on their skills and what they do on there. You know, like it gets me lit up. Like I'm like, yeah, that watching them play is poetry. You get
No, there's no doubt.
Yeah, I think they're double IPA
I don't think it's fair to do the one-on-one deals because that's not the game. They're two different games.
Yeah.
Like playing 5-on-5 versus 1-on-1 doesn't necessarily make you a better player. Like in all said and done. Like yes, on the basketball court, man to man, I can tell you if I'm better than you at basketball in one game.
Right.
But it doesn't work when you're talking about these guys' skill set and what they do. Like Curry works in a particular type of format, just like LeBron does.
Check this out. Okay, I'm going to put Durant as an Imperial Stout. He's got the size for it, and he's got that sweetness in his game. Right? A little sweet.
He does.
Right? And then Steph Curry.
He's almost like an Imperial Porter, though.
Maybe. I mean, if you're going to be a jerk about it, you can call him an Imperial Porter.
Because he has 2 championships, and everybody still hates him.
Yeah.
So,
but like Steph Curry, check this one out. I thought of this. He's got that feathery jumper. What's another word for feathery? Pillowy, hazy IPA.
Pillowy.
Get a little hazy in there. Like
he's see, that's what I'm saying too. Like, because there's all these. That doesn't mean like one's better than the other. They're just different genres. That's what I'm saying.
It is. Like he's pushing.
It's just how it is. He might be a hazy because of just how much he shoots perimeter in comparison to everybody. He still gets the job done. It doesn't mean he's still scoring points. He's just doing it differently than LeBron would do it. Like
and
where
old school basketball heads hate him.
Yes, exactly. My thing is just like if we're holding younger as like Jordan, he's like second tier. Like he's not even in the triple IPA category. No. It's like he's just a different player, but it's like everybody wants to be this. Yeah, he's still great. It's still great. Yeah. It's just where do you put him? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh,
he's a double. He's a Pliny. He's great, but he's not the best. Nobody's going to say Pliny's younger.
He's a sip of sunshine, you know?
Nobody's throwing him out of bed, right? Nobody's drain pouring. Nobody's drain pouring that. Yeah. You're not younger. Yeah. You're not younger.
Yeah. And now I just thought of this, like great teams are like great bottle shares, right?
Oh, I would so. There you go.
You go to the person who's like, hey, I'm the local guy. I bring local beers. There's a guy that gets the rare stuff. There's like somebody who's like, hey, I know we always want to finish the night on a big sour or a big stout. I got you. Like, just teamwork.
It's like you said, or sour. Yeah, like you got your sour friends. The guys that are they got them forever.
And if you
friends.
If you only got all big getters and only all local getters, it's not really a great bottle share. You know, you need all those different tastes in there. The people you can depend on to bring a certain thing to the table every day. I don't know.
I agree with you. I agree. Like, how are we doing? As I was like, does that become your dream team? Like, I mean, I don't want to parse beers, like, or, you know, like, I don't feel like obviously we're like telling other breweries are good. Like, we're lucky to have so many good breweries. Yeah. I would say, like, in Sacramento County, like, if I could put together like my 5 breweries that, like, my starting 5, it would be like New Glory, and they would probably be my, IPA category. They would be my star. And then I would go, Bike Dog. I'd go Burning Barrel. Burning Barrel would probably be in my like center range. Something very, very dominant. Urban Roots, of course, like would be like
that's your glue guy.
Oh my God!
They're 3&D wing.
Yeah, he's our Kawhi. Like they're our Kawhi, right? You can put him in small forward, power forward. He can guard anybody on the floor, basically. He's got you in the middle. I think Bike Dog's like your point guard. They're very efficient. They make the same stuff and
make great decisions. They don't make flashy decisions. They make great decisions.
They don't. Exactly. They're your John Stockton. They got you. They're going to take care of you and get you the ball, get you whatever you need, get everybody happy. Yeah. And then you go, like, again, New Glory is going to get you those crazy points. They're willing to go to multiple styles, try different things. Burning Barrel
and
is
surprisingly
like,
good at defense if they have to be. Surprisingly good on defense. And then again, like, obviously we got Slice and Moxa. Those probably are two, like, I would flip a coin on right now, like on like my two who can be the power forwards, where it's like they're bringing stuff, but, like, you know, they're gonna take whatever, you know, like the center can't handle. Like they'll be there one way or the other. They got you. If you need Imperial Stouts, we got you. If you need a triple IPA, I got you. Yeah, like, we got you. Like, we got you. So, I mean, we're really lucky. But yeah, those would be in my top 5, top 6 for sure. Yeah. Like, as far as like where you're gonna be. But I think we beat most squads. Like we beat most squads with that. Yeah. Nobody's touching us. Yeah, that's. I was like scared because you said Sacramento County at first. I'm like, you know, Sacramento County is not that big, and you were doing great. You had Urban Rouge, you had New Glory, you had Burning Barrel, you had you hit. I was like, because then you went Moxa and Slice, and they're technically.
Oh, Placer. I know they're right there. They're right Placer. I know they're Placer.
Your first 5 were Sacramento County, and I was worried because there's not actually a lot in Sacramento County proper. But you got them, and I was like, I agree with that.
No, luckily, I got to, like, Bike Duck does have a tap room in Sacramento County. Like, it works.
They just closed down their original West Sac.
Yeah, cool, because now they're going to be part of a new thing, the wine bar, like, / thing at the same. So it's all going to be productions. So they'll be able to add. They have more space to do that, which obviously isn't a bad thing for them. I'm happy for them.
Yeah, wonderful stuff every time.
Yes,
can't go wrong with them. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good way to wrap that, honestly. If you're going to do your starting 5 Sacramento breweries, unfuckwittable.
I think they're great, man. I love them all. Obviously, we have a ton more honorable mentions, Device and others that can definitely be involved if I didn't count them. It's not because of that. It's just terrible memory at this moment. But, like, we have incredible stuff up here, and we love everything else on top of that. We love, bring on Altamontes and down south. Don't even get us started. But those would be fun little top 5 squads to put together. I would love to do something like that.
Yeah, if you're listening, put together your area's top 5. Go up against our top 5 because I'm actually on board with Phil's picks. And we're just doing Sacramento County. If we want to go Sacramento region, oh my goodness. Don't even.
Oh my goodness! You can't
everybody's bring involved. It. Give us a top 12. We'll bring it back.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, we can do this again. I love it.
Not only do your top 5 for where you're at, you listeners. Not only do your top 5, but explain why they're your top 5. You need a point guard through a center position. Send them over. Send them to Barley and me. Send them to Culinary Lando. We'll put them together. We'll be like, we're still right.
Yeah, it'll still be fun. We'll argue to the best of us and drink beer over it.
Yeah. All right, Phil, I think that's a perfect way to get out of this thing. So before we go, thank you so much. Tell us where we can find you online if we want to get in contact with you or see what you're up to.
I have Culinary Lando on Instagram where I've been posting food and stuff like that, things that you can do at home to inspire people, from like chilaquiles for breakfast to enchiladas at night or some Southern cuisine, all the kind of stuff that I'm into that I love to do for my family. And keep following, because hopefully I'll have some pop-up kitchen stuff going on in Sac to kind of help everybody as we try to figure out what these next couple months might be like. But if you like food, follow me and I'll see you soon.
Yeah. And for Barley and Me, you can follow Barley and Me across social media at Barley and Me Pod. Still doing those chugs for charity, #chugs4charity, where I give money to service industry workers, teachers, students, and performing arts theaters affected by the COVID-19 shutdown. I think I'm going to keep doing it even after we get out of all this stuff and just keep donating to things that need it. Like, for instance, right now, the ACLU, the NAACP, Black Lives Matter, things like that. Those are things that other community organizations to help move things forward, because, a lot of people will be like, that's political. How is equality political? Moving on. Okay. I'm gonna ruin the end of
Everybody
this
needs
podcast.
help. Everybody needs help, and it's a good cause no matter what. I love it.
Yeah. So also you can do your own truck for charity, and you can win beer from my beer fridge. I'll pick a winner every couple of weeks. Give you a list of beers to pick from. Great. Moving on. Barley Me Podcast
Sweet.
at Barley Me Pod. Follow it, like it, tell your friends, all that stuff. Thank you so much for listening. Get home safe.
Awesome.